my corner, but they come out throwing quickly. Laursen lands a couple of fists, and down goes Michetti, although it looked like a defensive position, Jeremy, and now a big knee to the midsection.
Well, again, sticking within those rules, and a big head and arm throw by Mac Laursen, getting his opponent to the ground. Good counter there by Sterling Michetti. These guys are back and forth all over the cage, and back on top now is Mac Laursen. And I was going to mention that it's some shadowing, which is something that they mention. You shadow your opponent, do what your opponent does, and it can get in their mind. And it looks like we've calmed down here. We see inside the guard is Mac Laursen. He's in the gray and black trunks with the big eyes on the back of him.
Yeah, Laursen was almost had an arm in there, Jeremy, and Michetti was looking for the arm bar when was unable to do so.
Now again, after the very first action, it started to slow down a little bit. Some big shots being landed by Mac Laursen to the side of Sterling Michetti.
Yeah, Laursen using that boxing training from the past to drop those body shots, and those really take a toll over the course of the fight when they're thrown with the kind of authority that Laursen was throwing there, Jeremy.
Well, Mac Laursen continues to put the pressure down on Sterling Michetti. Here's some instructions from the corner, and now an arm-in guillotine attempt, and a good position here, and a lot of pressure, but that head is slipping out, so it doesn't look like he'll be able to secure it. But again, it wasn't a bad idea by Michetti to try and use what his opponent was giving him, and now a strike to the head of a very close to downed opponent.
Well, and I think that was just a well-timed shot, Jeremy. It really looked like he was waiting for Michetti to get off the ground before firing that shot, and really kind of timed it perfectly. And we've seen that here in the Hard Knocks cage before, where guys will time their opponent's knee coming up just perfectly. One thinks back to the Mike O'Neill-Jesse Arnett fight, but still Mac Laursen on top, as he has been for most of the round so far. 45 seconds remaining in round number one.
Well, now a high up position here by Mac Laursen means now Michetti has been able to switch out and get on top. He's got 35 seconds to work. Remember, 3-minute rounds here in the amateur division, 3-minute rounds, except for our title fight, which will be 5 3-minute rounds. That's going to be coming up very soon, and another fight, and then that.
So now it is Michetti on top, and this will offer an interesting thought for the judges, Jeremy, because of course Laursen controlled the better part of the 2 minutes, but it was Michetti on top at the end of the round, and really this now here, his second submission attempt. So you can certainly say Michetti was trying to end the fight, and we are underway here with round number 2 action from the Mark and McPhail Center here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Listening into the corner of Mac Laursen, you could hear him say he doesn't want to stand up and trade with you, so let's try and keep it standing and see what happens. And a nice kick by Mac Laursen, immediately stepped in by Sterling Michetti and taking him over the cage and trying to put the pressure down, but a nice reversal there by Mac Laursen.
Yeah, Laursen showing well here in just his second fight, but Michetti doing a nice job and landing a couple knees up against the cage as well, trying that swinging knee out from the outside into the thigh, trying to maybe take down the base of his opponent, Mac Laursen.
Well, and if you take away those legs, that striking power is much decreased if you don't have that good base underneath it. A danger little position there. Michetti was setting himself up to be thrown again by Mac Laursen, but wisely changed his position and got to a better one.
Michetti again trying to throw the knees up against the cage. He's held Laursen up against the cage for the better part of this first round so far. There was some exchanges early, but once they got up against the cage, it seemed like once he got him in the clinch, the knees coming now from both fighters, trading knees, and now a nice set of punches inside from Sterling Michetti.
And returned right back from Mac Laursen as both fighters are landing. Now in that knee situation that was happening, Michetti was coming up, attacking with the knees into the midsection, and Laursen was blocking. And then the second that the block came down and the knee returned, it was a reattack, attack, reattack. It's something that is talked about in every single combat sport. You counterattack.
Now Michetti trying the double here, Jeremy, trying to get his hands together behind Mac Laursen, but Laursen trying, he's got the arm in guillotine there, so Michetti's got to be careful here with his positioning if he's going to follow through with this takedown.
If he gets the hands locked and he immediately locks them and swings to his right side or the left side of Mac Laursen, that's going to be the only way he's going to be successfully to take this down without being in danger from this guillotine. But it's getting deeper and deeper. Mac Laursen keeps readjusting and getting that arm in, and also a bit of a mouse developing on the eye of Sterling Michetti.
Now standing guillotine attempt, Laursen trying to get it done here. And Jeremy, this is where you mentioned earlier, of course, Laursen, the last time he fought, much taller than his opponent, this time a little shorter than Michetti, so it's going to be really tough to get the pressure that he's going to need, because Michetti can kind of put his feet under him and stand up and relieve that pressure if he can get up under it.
Lots of pressure here being put on by Mac Laursen, but I think Sterling Michetti knows that he's got short time left in the round. He can hold this out, and if he can, he's going to be able to recover faster than the lactic acid buildup is going to go away in the arms of Mac Laursen.
This time they touch gloves, Jeremy. Maybe a little more respect earned from each man here. Michetti comes out throwing, trying to end this, but Laursen stands tall.
The difference in that exchange, Michetti landed probably 5 or 6 wild shots that landed to the side. Mac Laursen landed 4. He threw 4, and they were straight jabs right to the face. That boxing background really coming in, but both fighters doing damage right at the beginning of the round, and this is a heck of a fight for our third fight of the evening.
Yeah, Michetti and Laursen, you wouldn't know just one fight experience between the two of them the way they're going here tonight. And again, knees to the midsection from both fighters, uppercuts coming from Michetti. Both fighters going for it here in round number 3. When you've got a fight that's this close, Jeremy, you know both coaches have said you have to win round 3.
I can see no other way, especially for Sterling Michetti, because I thought that Mac Laursen definitely won round 1, although I'm not a judge, and for good reason, because, I'm terrible at this. But you look at Sterling Michetti must win round 3 to even have a chance, and even that would be a tough one to call because round 2 was so close.
Trying the single leg takedown here is Michetti. He abandons the attempt once he gets closer to his corner, trying to get to his coaches, trying to use them to his advantage.
Excellent pummel in by Mac Laursen. He was in a very disadvantageous position, pummeled into the underhook, and now it looks like Sterling Michetti has got that guillotine choke and trying to do some damage with it. Some knees to the gut because it's opened up now. The arms are fighting the choke.
Yeah, again, it's an arm in at this point, and Laursen has a 2-on-1 underneath. He's trying to shed it out and does so. A nice, not necessarily a sprawl, Jeremy, but up against the cage. Mac Laursen getting wide, not allowing Michetti to follow through with that takedown.
The important thing to finish those double legs is you either have to go to the knees and finish, or you have to lock the hands under the butt. That was an excellent continuity takedown by Sterling Michetti. He set up that leg being planted and posted, and as soon as he felt all the weight go onto the right leg, he hooked underneath, vacated that leg, and he gets the takedown.
He does have the mount. He's in the side. So far, Mac Laursen able to stay away from most of the damage here, but Michetti trying to trap an arm under the knee and start to land punches. Got to be careful, Jeremy. Not a lot of room there, and if he hits the head, of course, he'll be stood up, and it could be very, very costly.
Well, and here's the tough thing. With just short time remaining, now 20 seconds remaining, if Sterling Michetti wins this round, he could still lose the fight because of the first 2 rounds. So it's going to be a very close fight here between the two of them. 10 seconds now.
So Michetti on top with just 10 seconds to go. Mac Laursen may be in trouble here, Jeremy. A late submission attempt might just be holding him down to get through the end of the fight. And this fight is over. A heck of a fight it was between these two guys. Look at them getting up, smiling, raising each other's hands.